Hey, welcome to Old English Outfitters YouTube channel. I'm Alan. You know, there are two emerging trends in the concealed carry market these days. One of them we've talked about fairly extensively. That's the whole thing with the small optics, the small red dot sights that go on pistols. The other one is small pistols. Small not being really small, not really pocketable, but kind of medium-sized, high capacity, very shootable, but still, because they're very small in overall size, very easy to carry. Now, there's a few of those around. And the two headliners have always been Sig Sauer's P365 and Springfield Armory's Hellcat. They've been the two that have combined that really sweet spot of small size, shootability, and high capacity. Now, there are some others, too, that are just marginally bigger than those. Well, there's a new kid on the block, and that would be this, the Smith & Wesson Shield. And you're saying to yourself, what is new about that? The Shield has been around since 2012, one of Smith & Wesson's most popular products, very good pistol that combines that nice size and shootability. But it's always been a 2-magazine gun, one holding 8 rounds, one holding 7. Doesn't compare that closely to the other guns that hold 10, 11, 12, 13, stuff like that. Well, this is the Shield Plus, brand spanking new from Smith & Wesson, the Shield Plus. If you've ever seen a Smith & Wesson Shield and you're looking at this one, you're saying that gun's not any bigger, and you're pretty well right. It's not any bigger. But the grip frame is a little bit bigger. The thickness here is just a little bit bigger. And what they've done is they've taken the magazines and they've taken them where you've got this staggered box configuration where they're offset at the bottom, and then it tapers down to a single stack at the top. So we get a flush-fitting 10-round magazine with this gun, and we get an extended 13-round magazine with this gun. And with the 13-rounder in it, it is really no bigger in terms of height and length and everything than a standard Shield. Pretty impressive. This is a 2.0 configuration. Now, the 2.0 configuration, they did a couple things. The most noticeable thing they did was they changed the grip texture. This is much more rough than the original Shield. The other thing they did was they improved the trigger. This is almost a 3.0 because the trigger's improved yet a little bit more. It's a little bit different. We're going to talk about it here in just a second. But here we have, again, the Shield Plus, same physical size essentially as a standard Shield, but with higher capacity, 10 rounds or 13 rounds. There are a couple of interesting changes, a couple of interesting refinements to this that are different than the original Shield. And we're going to start with that by talking about this magazine, the 13-rounder. If any of you have handled a Shield, one of the original guns or the 2.0 series gun, you'll notice, probably have noticed, that this little sleeve that gives you that full grip feel that's on the bottom of the magazine, you can pull off. It sometimes if you're handling it, it'll move a little bit. It has a tendency to slide up. Well, boys and girls, this one won't. This one is actually anchored to the floor plate. So you have no concerns with this sliding up and causing a little problems when you're reloading in a hurry, especially if you're reloading in a hurry, because this thing will create a little gap right there, and sometimes you can pinch yourself real easy as that gap starts to close quickly when you're slamming the magazine in. So this is a really good, practical refinement of this magazine. That stays put just like it should. What else did they do? Well, a couple of things. On the original generation Shields and the standard 2.0 Shield, the magazine release was not reversible. On the EZ series Shields, they wisely decided to make it reversible because not everybody's right-handed. Well, they've taken that same exact design that the EZ uses to make their magazine release reversible, and they've implanted it in this. So the magazine release on this Shield, the Shield Plus, is reversible. That's good news for left-handers. Maybe even good news for right-handers who like to use their trigger finger to run the magazine release. So at any rate, it's reversible. So that's pretty good. The other thing they did is if you look at the trigger is different. The M&P series triggers have always had that two-piece trigger safety. Clarify something. That piece is there so that if the pistol was dropped, particularly from some height, fell from some height, and happened to land on the muzzle, that impact by itself will cause that trigger to move. As most of you know, or if you don't know, we're going to tell you, there's an internal lock in this, a firing pin lock. It locks the firing pin in place, won't let it travel. Lots of modern striker-fired guns have that feature. That lock has to move in order for the firing pin to travel, in order for the gun to fire. That lock is connected to the trigger. There's a point in the travel of the trigger where it disconnects the lock, lets the firing pin travel. Don't pull the trigger, you can't disconnect the lock, you can't make the gun shoot. But an impact like that might move that trigger far enough under its own momentum and its own weight to disengage that internal lock. The two-piece trigger on the Smith prevents that. The whole thing has to move. It's hinged at the bottom, okay? Well, on this one, they changed it. This has a center trigger piece, very much like Glocks and Springfield XDs and a few others. So it actually has a center trigger piece. So it works the same way, same idea, just engineered differently, engineered more the way other companies have done it. But that's not all. The trigger also, if you look at it, I'm going to push that piece in, is very straight and the front surface is very flat. There are no serrations there, which makes the trigger very comfortable to shoot. Occasionally, somebody may complain about a center trigger piece bothering their finger, especially if you're shooting rapidly. We didn't really notice it with this. This thing stays together pretty good. Didn't really cause a problem. There's also, you can see it or not, right there, and that's a 2.0 series feature, is a trigger stop, which prevents the trigger from traveling further, prevents it from over-traveling, going further and then coming back. The reset on this gun is also very, very short compared to the previous generations and very positive. You can hear it really well. So there's a definite improvement in the trigger. Not as much movement when you fire the gun. What else did they do to make this thing better? Well, a lot of it is engineered exactly like the original Shield, which was pretty good to start with. The slides are stainless, melanite coated, very, very durable, very resistant to rust, corrosion, and all that sort of thing. Still has the same sights, so you can replace them. Now, the standard one's not optics ready, at least not yet. We still have very shallow front cocking serrations, and we have the kind of the normal rear cocking serrations that the Shield series has always had. Inside, for takedown, we make sure it's empty and safe. We take the lever down. They've always had, there's a little piece of wire here that acts like a lever. And usually an open tip pen, if you can see it, an open tip pen lets you push that piece out and down. When you push it out and down, it lets you release the slide and take it off without having to pull the trigger. Didn't get it all the way down, did we? There we go. Lets you release the slide, take it off without pulling the trigger. Exactly the same as the first generation Shield. You can still pull the trigger to take it apart if you have to, or you want to, or you forget. But this is a little safer way, at least in Smith & Wesson's estimation, because you don't have to pull the trigger to take the gun apart. From there, it's the same as anything else. Goes back together just as simple. Very, very good weapon. The Shield came out in 2012. Enormously popular, very hard to get when they first started to come out because of that good combination of those two features. Easy to carry, not large, heavy, very shootable. Well, now we've added feature 3. We've added capacity. We went from 7 or 8 rounds to 10 and 13. So this is going to compete really favorably with the other guns out there that are like it in terms of those features. Now, this is brand new. So please check with us. Give us a call or check our website for price and availability. but it's going to be coming really quickly, right? Probably when you see this video, this will be available. We liked it. We shot it slow. We shot it fast. Worked pretty good. Very controllable. The aggressive grip texture, you'll notice, but it's not bad. It locks the gun in pretty good. And as a lot of you know, you can get rubberized sleeves that'll slip over that'll fit these things. You can get grip tape. You can do other things if this doesn't agree with you. Should be a very, very popular pistol, just like the original Shield was. Smith & Wesson's latest entry into the market. All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed that review. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Alan for Old English Outfitters.